The land of the Slavs, officially known as the Slovak Republic, or simply Slovakia, is a landlocked country situated in the heart of Central Europe. It shares borders with Poland to the north, Hungary to the south, Austria to the west, Ukraine to the east, and its former counterpart, the Czech Republic, to the northwest. With a modest territory of just 49,000 square kilometers and a population of around 5.5 million, Slovakia plays a vital role in Europe's transportation network. It is strategically positioned on key trans-European transport corridors, with 3 such corridors crossing its territory. Additionally, 4 railway freight corridors traverse Slovakia, reinforcing its importance within the European railway system. However, let's start from the beginning. The railway story in Slovakia begins some 184 years ago in the then Kingdom of Hungary, when the 15.5-kilometer section from Bratislava to Svätý Győr was put in operation. On the rails consisting of long square beams on which iron plates were nailed, 2 trains a day consisting of 2 wagons were initially hauled by horses. Later, this line was extended to the town of Trnava to make approximately 50 kilometers of tracks and a cornerstone for the future railway network. The first railway line in Slovakia to be operated by a locomotive was constructed in 1848 on the Bratislava-Gensendorf line, linking the Slovak capital with Vienna. The locomotive named Bihar pulled the first trains between Gensendorf and Bratislava, marking the beginning of real rail operations in the region. Let's first take a walk through some historical milestones before exploring the modern Slovak railway system. The year 1867, which saw the Austrian-Hungarian Compromise, also marked a significant intensification of railway development in the region then known as Upper Hungary, which would later become Slovakia. The backbone of Slovakia's railway network, the Košice-Bohumín line, was constructed in 1872, effectively linking one end of the country to the other. By 1873, several other major lines had already been completed, significantly enhancing connectivity within the region. Meanwhile, in 1869, the Hungarian state railways were established with the aim of taking over and operating the kingdom's main railway lines, while branch lines were left to private investment. A significant milestone came in 1889 with the introduction of a new zone tariff system, which optimized railway infrastructure utilization and spurred growth in passenger traffic. By 1891, most large private railway companies, including the Hungarian segment of the French-owned Imperial Royal Privileged Austrian State Railway, had been nationalized, further consolidating the network under state control. Changing economic circumstances in the country were reflected on the further construction of railway lines with its ups and downs, but most certainly during the end of 19th and the beginning of 20th century, everyone became aware of the strategic importance of railways for the monarchy. After World War I and the dissolution of the Austria-Hungary, the territory and the railways of today's Slovakia became part of the first Czechoslovak Republic. However, the network was inappropriate for the requirements of the new state, with the only efficient line being Košice-Bohumín. During this period, the state took over the operation of the remaining private lines, extended some of the existing lines, and already faced rising competition from the road. In 1930, Czechoslovakia had the 5th largest railway network in Europe, with 13,600 kilometers of track operated by the Czechoslovak state railways. However, most of this infrastructure was concentrated in the industrial regions of what is now the Czech Republic. Notably, the Czechoslovak state railways employed an impressive 135,000 people, representing 1% of the country's population at the time. After World War II and the re-establishment of Czechoslovakia, this time as a socialist country, the priority became to reconstruct the network, finish the nationalization, and expand the southern lines hindered by the lack of the capacity. Although the electrification started already in the 1920s, it was mostly carried out in the 60s and 70s. Finally, on January 1st, 1993, the Slovak Republic gains its independence. At the same time, the company Železnice Slovenske Republiky was established. The bad initial situation required immediate steps to consolidate the operation of the railway network and create conditions for the privatization and optimization. The strategic objective was to access the EU trade market and capitalize on the geography of the Slovak Republic and its potential. Then, in 2002, the Slovak Parliament decided to split the Železnice Slovenske Republiky. Železnice Slovenske Republiky, now as a new company, was tasked with infrastructure maintenance, management and operation, while passenger and freight transport was moved to Železnična spoločnosť. In 2005, this new company was further split into Železnična spoločnosť Slovensko, providing passenger services, and Železnična spoločnosť Cargo Slovakia, providing freight services. Today, Slovakian Infrastructure Manager operates a total of 3,630 kilometers of lines, which is relatively high compared to the size of Slovakia's territory. Most of the lines are normal gauge, but not all, as there are some broad gauge sections towards Ukraine and some narrow gauge traditional lines, including the scenic Tatra electric railway line. Around 44% of the network is electrified, and approximately 232 kilometers are equipped by the ERTMS, with ambitious plans to cover more than 600 kilometers in years to come. Regarding the railway market in Slovakia, approximately 50 rail companies provide transport services, with 45 operating in the freight and 5 in the passenger segment. Annually, more than 50 million train kilometers of traffic are achieved, with 71% attributed to passenger trains and 29% to freight trains. In the freight sector, slightly under 10 billion net ton kilometers are achieved each year. While this figure is lower compared to countries like Germany, Poland, Italy and Austria, it is a commendable performance considering Slovakia's relatively small size and population. Železnična spoločnosť Cargo holds some 63% of the market based on train kilometers, while the rest of 37% is shared between 45 other freight operators. In net ton kilometers, this indicator is nearing 70% for the national operator. In addition to Železnična spoločnosť Cargo, some of the major market players in Slovakia are Railtrans International, Prva Slovenská železničná, CER Slovakia, and Rail Cargo Carrier Slovakia. In the passenger market, Slovakia recorded 3.4 billion passenger kilometers in 2022, which increased to 3.7 billion in 2023. However, this remains below the pre-COVID-19 level of 4 billion passenger kilometers achieved in 2019. Similarly, in terms of passenger numbers, Železnična spoločnosť Slovensko transported over 71.7 million passengers in 2023, steadily nearing the figures achieved in 2019, when 77.3 million passengers were transported. Slovakia's passenger railway system has undergone significant changes in recent years, shaped by the evolution of public service obligation contracts and the increasing role of private operators. While 86% of all passenger traffic is domestic and 90% of passenger kilometer services are supported by PSO contracts, about 10% operate on a fully commercial basis. The Železnična spoločnosť Slovensko remains the dominant player, with a 94.4% market share. A major shift occurred in 2012 when RegioJet, a private operator, was awarded a PSO contract for the Bratislava-Dunajska Streda-Komarno route without a competitive tender. This decision came from Železnična spoločnosť Slovensko's lack of interest in operating the service. RegioJet capitalized on the opportunity, achieving record passenger numbers during its tenure which lasted until 2020. The company used refurbished double-deck coaches from DB Regio to accommodate the growing demand on this busy route. In 2020, the route was temporarily transferred to a partnership between Železnična spoločnosť Slovensko and Austria's OBB. A tender held in 2022 resulted in Leo Express, a Czech private operator partly owned by Spain's Renfe, winning a 10-year PSO contract starting in 2024. Meanwhile, RegioJet shifted toward open-access services, announcing Slovakia's first competitive long-distance connection between Bratislava, Žilina and Košice, with the connection to Prague. International services further highlight Slovakia's central role in European rail travel. Trains like the Euronight Chopin and Nightjet Metropole connect major cities such as Berlin, Warsaw, Prague and Budapest, making stops in Slovakia along the way. Leo Express, alongside its PSO services on the Bratislava-Komarno route, also operates between Prague and Košice. It has announced plans to launch a Bratislava-Brussels connection by 2025, though challenges particularly regarding lack of rolling stock may slow this initiative. The Austrian operator OBB also contributes significantly to Slovakia's rail system, especially with its railjet service connecting Bratislava and Vienna, with onward connections to Zurich. Meanwhile, Arriva operates several regional routes, adding to the growing diversity of passenger rail providers in Slovakia. Železnična spoločnosť Slovensko operates a diverse fleet of rolling stock tailored to meet various operational demands. Its fleet includes at least 10 Siemens Vectron locomotives, complemented by an additional 30 Vectrons on lease. These modern locomotives are gaining prominence in Slovakia as they are seen as replacements for older classes like the Škoda Class 350 and 361. For regional services, electric multiple units such as the Class 671, also known as City Elephant, are widely used. The fleet also features several diesel locomotive models, including the Class 757, along with diesel multiple units like the Class 861, and a variety of passenger coaches for both regional and long-distance services. Additionally, Stadler-Kiss double-deck trains are deployed in the western and central parts of Slovakia for regional routes. As part of its fleet modernization efforts, Železnična spoločnosť Slovensko has introduced 8 3-car and 2 4-car dual-voltage Škoda 7 EV EMUs, better known as Regio Panthers, in the Czech Republic. The original contract included an option for an additional 5 3-car and 10 4-car units. In August 2021, Železnična spoločnosť Slovensko expanded its fleet by ordering 9 more trains specifically for the Košice region, with an option to purchase 11 additional units. These new trains are expected to enter service gradually over the coming years, further enhancing the efficiency and quality of rail services in Slovakia. In the absence of significant infrastructure modernization projects currently underway in Slovakia, we would like to highlight one intriguing recent initiative before concluding this story. In June 2024, the so-called Prague Declaration on Transport Infrastructure was signed by the transport ministers and representatives of the Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Poland, and Slovakia. The formal aim of the declaration is to develop the transport infrastructure of the region and cross-border connections, leading to a better integrated network. The declaration also emphasizes the importance of strategic transport projects such as Rail Baltica, the Via Vindobona railway linking Berlin, Prague, and Vienna, and new high-speed lines to strengthen transport links within the Visegrad countries. One of these proposed lines would connect Budapest to Warsaw via Bratislava and Ostrava, providing a high-speed rail link between the 4 Visegrad countries, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia. As we continue our journey through the railways of Central Europe, It's worth noting that Hungary remains the only Visegrad country we haven't yet explored in detail. We've already covered Poland's rail development with our video on the CPK high-speed rail project and recently discussed the Czech Republic. This new V4 high-speed rail initiative could be the perfect follow-up after an explainer video on Hungary's railways. If you'd like us to cover this topic, let us know by liking and commenting on this video. Your engagement helps us reach more viewers and, who knows, might even convince SEO to love us a little more. You've been watching the story of the railway system in the Slovak Republic on Railways Explained. If you find our content valuable and would like to support us, consider joining Railways Explained on Patreon, exploring YouTube membership options, or making a symbolic PayPal donation. Your support truly makes a difference and helps us continue creating detailed videos about the fascinating world of railways. Thanks for watching and see you next time.